We got a special guest tonight. We got a school on them in Texas. Is that
Texas.
Odessa, Texas?
It's Odessa, Texas, West
That's
Texas.
right. Odessa, Texas. That's where Larry Johnson, the great basketball player. Now, Nancy is one of the most highly decorated stylists.
Aw.
Okay. She got her education somewhere else. She got a real education. She matriculated over in Germany. And first of all, Nancy, I want you to tell us about your childhood. They already know you got the $100,000 grant. You open your school, you're doing well and all that, but we need to go back to the childhood. So
Oh,
tell
Lord.
us about that.
Okay. So I grew up in Germany. I was born and raised there. So my father, my dad, he was a soldier stationed there back, I think, from the 60s until 77 or something like that. I was born in 73. So I'm one of his children, and I grew up with my mom, thank God, kind of, sort of. Yeah, I grew up there in a white family, the only brown child in the kindergarten and in school. I think the first brown child joined us when I was almost graduating, like 16, 17. So yeah, that was my life, and I had a great childhood. It was great. I mean, it was way different than over here. So I haven't been here too long to say this is just where I want to stay for the rest of my life, but I'm here now, and I'm here to talk about my school. I can't hear you, Jen. I can't hear you.
When you got out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
what did you do? That was probably 91, 92.
Yes, so my mom wanted me to get a real job, a good job. I've been doing hair ever since I was like 14, 15, probably even earlier, because I had to deal with my own hair. Nobody knew how to deal with my hair, so I just started doing it myself when I was like 11, 12. But she said, get a good job, so I had to go to college and become something good. I became a translator for French, English, and German, and yeah, that was my degree, and that's what I was doing for quite a while. I attended beauty school at 25, so I was kind of late.
Okay, so what made you decide, Nancy, to attend beauty school?
Well, like I said, I've already been dealing with my hair so much, and like from ever when I was a little girl, and it was just something that made me happy, like just getting my hands in the hair. The first time I walked into a salon, it was like heaven to me. The smells, I love the smell of some perm. Sounds weird, but it's true. But yeah, I just always was attracted to that, to the beauty industry.
Now, can you tell everybody, because I think 99% of the people on here are Americans. Can you tell them in detail about going to beauty school in Germany?
Mm-hmm. So in Germany, we have an apprenticeship system. That means you have to be an apprentice under a master cosmetologist for 3 years. During that time, you go to work. You get about half the pay of a entry-level stylist, but you have to work. Like for me, my first year, I didn't even get to touch a client, really. I had to sweep and bring coffee and take their jackets, book appointments, get the lunch for the master. So I really, it really took a while until we got to touch real people. We got to practice on our mannequins, and then once a week we had like what they call the training evening, where you could bring friends, family, and present a haircut or color, whatever you was working on, and they would grade you on that. So during the week, we go to school twice a week in the first year, and then one day a week in the following years. And yeah, it's a pretty extensive test.
So,
Pretty extensive.
So after the 3 years, did you have to take a written test?
You have to take a written test and a practical test, very extensive test.
How was the test? Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh, it was, I'm old, of course. Back then, I don't know how they do it now, but back then we just got like a paper test where we had to do kind of like multiple choice, but also explain yourselves. There was also an oral evaluation where you had to talk to three masters and explain certain things. They would ask you questions of how to handle stuff, and all of that would go into your final grade and decide if you are going to be a young hairstylist. That's actually the name. They call you young hairstylist. And yeah.
Okay, so you graduate, you get your license. Did you go work in a shop, or tell us about that?
I worked in a couple of different shops. I got into hair extensions. The first shop I worked with, I got certified in hair dreams, and that was really good money because hairstylists over there, they really don't make as much money as we can over here. It just blows my mind of how much money we actually can make over here, and over there you get probably like a dollar over the minimum wage. There's not many tips. People don't really tip. So yeah, it's not a good business unless you are self-employed in some type of form, but for that you have to get a master's. So I was working for different companies for about a year and a half, and that's the time it takes until you can attempt to take the master's of cosmetology, and then you have to apply for that and take another, I think it's an 8-month course with advanced hairstyling techniques. And after that, if you graduate, and which I did, I actually did it so well. I hate to toot my own horn, but I did so well that I got actually a scholarship from our government for my school. So that was a good thing. But I always knew I wanted to have a salon because that is the only way you can make money over there. There's
Okay.
no can't be working behind there and get rich.
So did you ever get a salon over there?
I did. And after I got my master's, a little salon came open. It was really tiny, 2 chairs, and it had an apartment right by it. It was like the best solution for me. And I had the salon for about 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I specialized in braids and relaxers because actually there was literally nobody doing it over there because there's not a lot of Black people over there.
Now, and then what did you do after that? You had the salon 2 years. Then what did you do?
It for 2 years, and then my ex-husband, he's married. He was American soldier. I mean, he is still, but he's my ex now. So he wanted to come back home and be with his elderly parents, and we already lived over there for 10 years together. And I figured it was just that time to, go with him. And I sold the salon. It was kind of hard, the hardest thing I ever had to do, and I moved to Odessa, Texas, with him.
And so you moved to Odessa, Texas with your ex-husband. How long ago was that?
I came here in 2006.
2006. Okay, so now you're in Odessa, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do then?
I was working. Of course, it took a little bit of time before I got my license transferred over. I didn't have to take no tests or nothing, but it just took a long time. I had to translate all of my lesson plans and everything. So, yeah, that took a while. And I was working in salons, different salons, and I finally ended up getting a really good position at JCPenney, and I was actually doing hair there for 12 years.
Okay, and Nancy, when did you start thinking about a school? Because you were this hairstylist working at JCPenney salon. When did you start thinking about a school?
So actually what I did there for the most part, or as part of my job, was kind of training the new girls right out of beauty school, with the only beauty school we have there, coming and trying to work. And I just felt like they had, I don't mean to rat out no schools now or something like that, but it was just, to me, shocking how they weren't able to perform simple tasks, or, really didn't know what to do or how to make money. Yeah.
Okay.
So I maybe there's a better way, but back then they still had these you have to have at least, I don't know how many, 10,000 square foot. I don't know how much. It was a big amount of square footage you needed to open a school, but that fell away. But the first time I actually talked to my mom, she kept coming to Florida to visit. I would say probably in 2010,
2010.
2012.
And you said, I want to get a school.
I think that's what I want to do. But then I got discouraged, of course, because of the laws. But the laws are different now. So that was, for me, the go time. Then that first happened when I really took it serious back in 2019. End of 2019, I joined a business challenge, a business incubator, where you learn how to write your business plan and learn about QuickBooks and kind of that sort of stuff. And at the end of this challenge, we presented our business plan, and that's how I got the money to open my firm.
So tell us about that. So you in this challenge,
Mhm.
and you wrote the business plan, went through that program. You got how much?
I got 100,000. So my business plan was over 120,000, and they said they're gonna give me the 100,000, and I gotta come up with the 20,000 myself. They did check our credit scores and everything before they let us enter this, but everything went well.
So when you got the 100,000, how did you feel?
Well, I didn't believe it at all. Like, when they told me, I couldn't take that in for like a few days. Like, I was just not knowing, because to me it was really, I joined that so I could write a business plan, so I can take the steps to. I never expected to win, so all of that came kind of abrupt, and they gave me only a small time frame afterwards to actually start doing stuff.
Okay, so you win 100,000, a grant. So that was a grant is money you don't have to pay back.
No.
Okay. Okay, so now did you go driving around looking for a building? Tell us about that.
That was actually part of this whole challenge. We had to come up with the real building, with real vendors, a real inventory list, real names of real tax people, real names of real lawyers. So everything was set up. So that was the whole game plan of that challenge. So I already had a building in mind, and they gave me my check, like this oversized big check in front of this building. But the landlady overnight decided to give it to her hair salon instead of making it a school. So I had to start from scratch, finding a new building.
Okay, so you find a new building. Did you?
Well, I started leasing the salon I was working in. It was called Meraki, and I leased the suite there when that all started. It was right around COVID time. You can imagine, this was all crazy. And the owner of the salon, she fell behind on her rent due to COVID because all the girls moved out, and she asked me if I would take over it. So that's what I did.
Okay, now did you turn that into a school?
Yes, I used the quarantine time when everybody was at home. I used that to, tear down the stuff and paint and order stuff, which was a hassle because nobody would deliver. It was horrible, but it came together, and we opened in 2021.
2021. Now, when did you come across me?
I didn't want to lie. At least 6, 7 years ago.
And what did you think?
I thought, like, damn, he knows how to do what I want to do. Have a school, open a school in America for that. You gotta imagine, I'm not from here. I didn't grow up here. To me, every day is culture shock. So I had no idea where to start.
Now, did you start following or looking, or what did you start? Were you following our lives and looking at videos, or what?
It wasn't so much the lives like that. Did you do Facebook? I really don't know. Did you do Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
I think it probably was somehow Facebook and YouTube. You got
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
I listened in and I was on that bronze program, but that's so much money. You got to think about I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and all of this money was so intimidating to me, especially since I'm all here by myself. So it's not I got somebody to fall back on when stuff goes wrong.
Okay. So did you ever think it was a scam?
I did for a minute. No, not that you're a scam or that the program is a scam.
Or it wasn't real, maybe? Maybe
Yeah,
something wasn't real.
like, yeah, is it real? And then does it apply to me too? Because I'm more into cosmetology. I'm not into the barbering, and I think barbers are a different breed, if you ask me. But I was intrigued. I must say, like, I'm like, okay, I definitely, when I attempt that, I need somebody like that to help me through that, because it's a lot, and I didn't expect it to be that much. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. So you got your school open. Can you tell us about the first student, that first day? Or no, tell us about the day before you opened the school.
Oh my God, that was really something. I mean, it was, I don't even know. I don't even think I slept that night. I don't think I did. But my very first student, is funny that you say that. It was actually one of my very first clients. I cut their hair here in Odessa, and she looked at me skeptically because, a lot of people here had that idea of, oh, you're not black enough. Are you really black? Do you really know how to do my hair? I'm like, okay, just give me a chance to try. And she was one of my first ones, and she came in while I was still renovating with double mask. She came in because she's 64 now. She's like, I really want to be a student. I always dreamt about being a hairstylist. My mama was a stylist, and she was actually my first student, and also my first instructor at my school. So,
Oh, wow. So you didn't sleep the night before. You get up, you go to the school, and then you open.
yeah, we had a ribbon cutting and a nice party and a buffet, which is probably out of line with TBRs. It was good. Yeah.
Now, there are over 4 million beauty professionals in the United States, and there's
Uh-huh.
over 1.4 million shops.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of school owners. So when you told people you were going to open this school, it's almost like a kid telling somebody, I'm going pro, I'm going to the NBA, I'm going to be Jordan LeBron James. So what was people's reactions?
Yeah, I was shocked. Actually, that kind of shows you who your real friends are in a way, because yeah, I caught a lot of shade, a lot of hate, a lot. I just stayed to myself, really, actually, after all of that. Because people, they, um, I don't know, it's like that, the crab bucket, right? When the one crab tries to crawl out of there, the other ones try to pull it down. So that's the type of feeling I had dealing with my immediate environment.
So how did you overcome that? Because a lot of times when negative people or dream killers or naysayers or the vampires or the parasites are trying to suck the blood out of you, how do you keep going and not succumb to that or fall to that?
honestly, I think the good thing was that it was everything pretty much during quarantine, right? We were not supposed to hang out. We were not supposed to mingle. I, didn't have to come up with excuses and like, no, I cannot make it to that. I just really focused on me and my school, and did a whole lot of yoga in the school while I was renovating it. And I just, took care of myself.
So when you got open, what did they say?
Yeah, they was impressed. They still are. And some of them feel, I think, a little bit intimidated even.
Now, how did it feel to be a school owner? Does it feel any different being a school owner versus a hairstylist? Or tell
Oh
me
yeah,
about that.
most definitely. But I even now sometimes have that feeling when I am somewhere and like they ask me what you do, I'm like school owner. It still rings funny in my head because like these last 2 years it was such a whirlwind, and I'm really just now settling into okay, this is gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm. So now you're running the school. Tell us about the students that you have, graduation, clinic floor. Tell us about that.
Well, we got a small school. It's about 3,800 square feet. I have 22 hair stations, which is too many. I'm probably gonna uh, tone it down a little bit. And I got 5 facial beds. We have a pedicure chairs and nail stations. I got about right now, how many students? We just started a class yesterday. So right now, actively enrolled, I think it's like 40 or right under 40. And I do day class and then we have night class too. So we open from 9 to 9 from Monday through Friday. And I got 100% pass rate when it comes to practical. Our theory is not so good. I had a few that kept going back to, we were good, but they just messed it up for me. So we had a 78% when it comes to our theory in the first try. So yeah, we use Pivot Point learning platform, which is great.
How long have you been open, Nancy?
We opened on April 2021.
Okay, so you've been open about 2 years.
A little bit over 2 years.
In those 2 years, approximately how many students have you had?
Um, about I think 72 or something like that,
That's a lot.
or
When I,
68. I don't want to lie, but around that ballpark.
that's still a lot because I went about
Yeah,
5 to 6 months without students.
yeah.
Did you ever think when you opened this school, like these voices in your head, well, what if I don't get no students? Well, what if I don't get no clients? Can you tell us about some voices in your head?
Yeah, so that was my main reason, right? I don't offer financial aid. Everybody here in this small town is used to that college that gives education for cosmetology at a cheap price, really. I mean, I cannot even lie. So I was worried about that. But what helped me a lot is during making this, coming up with this business plan, I had somebody to help me to figure out how many students do I really need to, break even? What's the point when we actually gonna make money and all of that stuff? So I was less frustrated then because he told me if as long as I do 2 classes with 10 students, my bills would be paid. And that's all I had in my mind and focused on. That's why I feel it's so important to have a business plan, right? People start a business without having a plan, and where you gonna go if you don't have a plan? It's not gonna work, especially if you work with these type of numbers, because this is money. It's not change.
Okay, now about how many students do you have, potential students that call you each week and say, well, Nancy, do you have financial aid?
I got, like I said, I got so many of them. So literally everybody asks about that. Even the ones that do enroll, even though we say no, but even they ask. It's just a money thing. So, like I said, depending on how we put out our advertisement, but we get about 10 calls a week about that.
About
At
five,
least,
and
yes.
your tuition is 14,200, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
14,200, you get about 10 students a week calling about financial aid. So that's 40 students a month. So that's like $568,000
Yeah.
per month. So when we were on the Instagram live, do you remember that?
Yeah.
What did you think about that
About the life itself.
when we were talking? When I
Yeah.
because you
I
said something about price or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, I really, had this whole accreditation thing had me thinking like 3 days already prior to that call we had on Sunday. I think it, it was just like I just went on there and was like, okay, right now is the time to talk, because I read through the website and I was frustrated. I'm like, I cannot do this by myself. I did get an offer from somebody else to help me with the same thing, but honestly, since I've been listening to you all these years, I trust you more in that. So yeah, to me it was a done deal.
Now,
And nowadays, this type of money is not as intimidating to me anymore as it was when I first started seeing you. Like I said, I was living paycheck to paycheck.
so things have gotten better.
Oh yeah.
It has. Can you tell us about that a little bit? How things have gotten better?
Oh, way better. Like I said, after my divorce, I think I had a credit score from 420 or something like that. It was so low because I just had moved to the States. I did not know credit history, of course. I was only working part-time 3 days a week. So, I was like not having any resources like that.
Do you have
So,
children?
yeah. No, I don't.
Okay. But okay, so going through this divorce, then my mom went through a divorce.
Yeah.
She went through it was not good. But when you went
Divorce
through
is
the
not.
divorce, huh?
A divorce is not good.
So can you talk a little bit about that to kind of help some of the women out here? Because we have a lot of women out here who are thinking about going
Oh
through
yeah.
divorce. Some of them are going through, some of them are kind of scared or skeptical. Can you give
Okay.
them some enlightenment?
Let's give everybody the advice: get divorced.
What?
Get divorced, because honestly, like my life started after my divorce. I wasn't even aware of, because we get so programmed into being a wife and, a good wife at that, and cooking and cleaning and doing all of that stuff, that really our career goals a lot of times are, at least for me, that, I sold my salon for a man. How stupid is that, right? So we always held back with that. As for my ex-husband, we lived together happily in Germany. When we came here, he started turning on me. I don't know if it's like if you catch an animal in the natural habitat that they act differently, but it was different. He rejoined the army and went to several deployments and came back home crazy. So his ass was crazy. He got abusive, and I stayed in there too long, really. I mean, we were married for 22 years, so that's a long time, right? You just don't throw that away. That's what you think. You don't throw that away, but actually, that's really baggage that you need to throw away to actually live your life. Yeah.
So
In the end, he left me for some girl in El Paso that they've been playing house together for a long time. And he's, I guess, living happily after since. But like I said, I'm doing way better now. I would not ever go back to that
now
life or
what
washing the men's clothes.
what gave you the the encouragement to move forward or to get out of it?
Well, I really had no choice, right? We all really don't have a choice but to move along and go forward. There's no way stepping back. But after I was done with the shock, because he, served me papers with the sheriff 2 weeks before Christmas. And, I didn't even know that we were getting divorced. So I just had to move on. And it was rocky, but there's always people that are there to help you out. Even people that you don't know, there's always, I call them angels, that step into your life when you need them the most. And it kept on moving. And I always was happy in what I did. So I just started working more and, you know,
So he ended up leaving.
yeah.
Okay. Now, why didn't you leave? Like,
But-
if
Well,
something's not good or bad or whatever,
no, it was not good at all. I mean, he was struggling with his mental health, and every time I thought about leaving, that thing kicks in like, oh, but how you gonna? We said through good and bad times, and obviously you came back from Afghanistan, and it is a really bad time for you. But no excuses. Don't be like me. This was not good. It was also detrimental to my mental health staying there that long. But again, I'm here by myself. My family is in Europe. Everybody's in Germany. So yeah, I just felt scared, right, to not make it by myself, not have health insurance and all of that, fear-based thinking that really don't make no sense.
so now you have this school. Tell us how things have changed.
Well, my credit score definitely went up a lot. So that's a good thing because I do want to buy another home, and um I'm not stressing. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm not freaking out because a dishwasher or a washing machine breaks down or there's something with the car. I got a new car, not a new car, but a car that I could afford because I don't believe in payments. So I think that helped me a lot because growing up over there, I think we look at finances a little bit different than you guys. But I feel like if I cannot pay cash for it, I cannot afford it. So I've been driving hoopties most of my time here in America, something that I could afford. And I finally got to buy me a car that I like. And
Congratulations, Nancy.
thank you.
Um, any advice you want to tell? We have a lot of women on here,
Yeah.
and you've come from Germany to America, didn't have any family, no support, was married, then he went south or whatever, served you divorce papers, left for another woman. Now you got to fend by yourself or for yourself.
Yeah. But it's not so hard. It's actually very enjoyable.
How did you fend by yourself? Did you go work at fast food? Tell us what you did, because a lot of these women are scared to leave because they're saying they can't make it without them, or something's
Oh
in their
yeah,
brain.
there's always ways to make money. So I don't. I mean, I know we live in an area where there's a lot of jobs because of the oil field, but I know there's money to be made if you're not lazy. So of course, I have a talent. I've been doing hair, so I just started doing more hair. I started raising my prices. I started, doing stuff that I wouldn't have done. Like I started installing hair and all of that stuff. That's not really what I like doing, but I did it because it's money. But there was also a time where I had to work as a maid because my license was expired. So you do what you have to do. You can drive out pizza. There's always, I started listening to, what's his name? Dave Ramsey? Is it Dave Ramsey? I don't
Dave
know.
Ramsey, yeah, he
This,
lives in my
this
city.
white guy. I read his book. Somebody gave that book to my ex-husband a long time ago, and nobody ever read it. I'm like, let me see what this man is talking about. I got hooked up on him and listened to all the podcasts, and I really didn't have a lot of debt. That was the good thing. So to start with, but I needed to build my credit and just try to be on my own because, like I said, he paid for everything, and he had, I pretty much used my money that I made during our marriage on myself. So I really didn't know how to take care of a house and bills and all of that stuff with my money, but it worked out.
Okay. Um, Now you've done a lot, dancing. You've overcome a lot,
Well,
and now you have this school, and now we're going to go through accreditation and do all that paperwork.
oh
Um,
my,
I know you've been on here a long time, and I've learned a lot from you, although we've talked before, but I didn't know all of this about you. So I commend you for what you've done. I even have even a greater respect and admiration, especially when women go through what you've gone through. I mean, and where you're at now, that's like, there's no excuse for these beauty professionals who want to go to the next level.
you just don't be scared. Make a plan and don't be scared.
Yeah, because you're not even from America. How many languages do you speak?
I speak English, French, and German.
English, French, German. Okay. Is there anything else that you can leave them with that you would want them to know? Because
Well, I need you guys to just stay on your vision. Like I said, 2015, that's a long time ago, right? Just because it took me so long doesn't mean it has to take you that long. But if you can think it, then you can have it. You just got to keep thinking of that and keep taking the right steps and make a business plan. No matter what you do, you need a business plan. You need a business plan. And if you don't know how to make one, go to the SBA. They will help you with that. It's the Small Business Association, and they will help you. But don't start nothing without a business plan, please.
okay.
And get a divorce.
And get a divorce. Okay. Well, I mean, you gave them some good stuff. Do you have a few minutes for Q&A? We always do Q&A.
Sure.
Okay, so let me but I want to go to your Instagram. I want to show them your Instagram real quick. I always like to do that. And then you can kind of walk us through this. Can you see your Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna scroll through it. You can just stop me anywhere. Just anywhere.
I stop you for what? What do you mean stop? Stop?
Like on a post that you want to talk about.
Oh, we started doing the selfies. I don't know what you're scrolling real fast.
What about this right here?
Okay, that looks like my second class. That was a crazy class. I like girls, but they all made it, and they all of them graduated good and working now. I'm like, that was good. These girls,
Okay. When you said a crazy class.
yeah, some of them girls are just out there. I'm like, girl, maybe it's because I'm old. I don't understand that new generation, but I'm like, girl, oh yeah, that was fun times. So this was my very first class, and we all were very tense still. It was masks still. Post-COVID time, everybody was scared and didn't want to get close to anybody. And we're like, okay, we need to do. And this is my first instructor, Miss Shepherd. I told you she was also my first student, and she retired as a dance teacher from a high school, and she would lead us through the Cupid Shuffle or the electric slide or whatever it is we're doing there.
Now you said she was 60 something years old.
She's 64 years old. She was, like I said, my first African American client here in Odessa. And she started when she was 62. She's 64 now because she's, graduated. And she actually works in my salon and leases a suite there.
Right here. Yeah, she don't look no 64.
Yeah, she looked good.
In shape.
Yeah. She helped me a lot in the beginning, yeah.
And this is your clinic floor?
Yes.
You got a very nice school. It looks very good.
Thank you.
Yes.
It looks better when it's empty. When everybody's in there, it's getting chaotic sometimes. It's kind of small for me.
Let me see. Okay, so we'll do some Q&A. So let me stop this.